This is Ryan at Macmillan Law, and with a bit of a shout out to Oscar Wilde, I'm here to talk to you today about the importance of being earnest. Nobody likes to talk about money, and I think even fewer of us like to talk about death. So the idea of having a conversation about what happens to your money after you die can be pretty daunting to a lot of us. And I think this is maybe why a 2019 Caring.com survey found that 57% of American adults have no sort of estate planning in place, no will, no trust. And these numbers actually get worse when you're talking about adults with children. Then only 36% of adults with children have a will or a trust in place. This can be incredibly problematic. Without a plan in place, the law of the state in which you are domiciled gets to determine what happens to your property after you die, not you. Further, the family is left to fight over who has control over the process of dealing with your estate, and these fights can get ugly. Finally, with children in the mix, this gets infinitely worse. Family are left to fight over guardianship of the children, and let me tell you, even if you have some kind of a plan in place, even if you've talked to your parents or to your children, those conversations are in no way enforceable in court. And so there is no way, short of having a document like a will or a trust in place, memorializing your last wishes, for a court to decide what you thought. And so the court will tend to determine what is best for the child, and the court will decide who has guardianship. You don't want your family to inherit a fight like this. It is important to leave an enforceable plan in place, a will or a trust, explaining your last wishes, and we at Macmillan Law are ready to help. Moreover, you don't want to be caught up in these kinds of fights after a loved one dies. It is important to have a frank discussion with your family, with a spouse, with your parents, with adult children, over what they have in place, so that you can avoid getting caught up in situations like these. Over the next several weeks, I'm going to be releasing a series of videos about just this, to share helpful tips for starting a conversation with your family about estate planning. In week 1, we'll be discussing how to have that conversation with your parents. In week 2, we'll be discussing how to have that conversation with adult children. And in week 3, we'll discuss how to have the conversation with your spouse. So often, these conversations just get kicked down the road, and they get lost. And then unfortunately, something happens to that loved one, and you are left to fight it out. It is important to have earnest discussions with your family members about these issues. I hope you'll join me for these instructional videos. And please, if you have any questions, or if you'd like to get your own plan in place, give us a call. The information is on the website, and we'd be happy to help. Thank you.